Well, the first 1,000 miles on my new 2024 Road Glide are up, and today I'm going to tell you how that first 1,000 miles was. And let's just say it has not gone without hiccups. I've had some issues. I've had some kind of crazy issues all the way around, and so I'm going to tell you about those issues. I'm going to tell you what I've done to the bike so far, and I'm also going to tell you my plans with the motorcycle, and also if I regret this decision. I ended up trading my 2020 Road Glide Special, the billiard red one that I've had for a while now, and ended up trading that at Orlando Harley. A lot of you guys have asked me, man, where'd you get your bike from, and all that kind of stuff. This is my third motorcycle that I've gotten from Orlando Harley. So if you need something, you want a fair deal on one of the new 2024s, talk to Billy at Orlando Harley and tell him Hegshot sent you, and he'll look out for you. Now, if you like what I do, consider subscribing. You could also join us on Patreon, join the channel right here, and become part of the Shot Squad. Your support is much appreciated as we continue to grow and put out additional content, and your support allows me to do things like Daytona Bike Week, eventually Sturgis this year, and a whole lot more in between, of course. And so I really appreciate that. Also, I created one link for y'all to check out all my socials. If you want to check out my other channels, if you want to check out the merch, if you want to, I don't know, sign up for the email list, if you're not getting notifications here on YouTube, whatever. One link in Linktree, boom, you can go right there. I try to make it super simple for everybody here. But we have a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this transaction started like the other two that I've had with Orlando. They shipped the bike up to me and they took my old motorcycle back with them. Simple process. I know that I'm going to get a fair deal because that's just the way those guys are. Like I said, that's the way I deal with them. And anybody that knows me, some of you guys know exactly kind of the area that I'm in. You know that I'm in between two Harley dealers. Those dealers are going to come up here in a minute, but there is a reason that I go, I don't know, I think it's 400 miles away to buy my motorcycles. But again, we'll kind of circle back to that here in a minute. So I get the bike that day. We take it out for, I don't know, about 30, 35 miles, something like that. Then the next day, so I'm getting like, I don't know, some footage for a short or something for Instagram or YouTube, something like that. And I just kind of back it out of my garage, which is on a slight grade, just a slight slope downward. I have to start it up to get it back in my garage. And when I go to start it, I get this issue where the starter motor just keeps turning, 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 and nothing happens. Now, eventually, the bike started acting even more erratic. Now, what I had heard up to that point is there was a software update that would actually fix the no start issue. The problem is my bike actually already had it. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but it's something I found out later. What was interesting though is that sometimes it would actually start up, but it was almost like it would just start up on one cylinder. I mean, it was just very kind of bogged down, and then it would start smoking, and then it would throw check engine light. I mean, just acting really erratic on me. Now, I contacted my friend Matt at Harley. You've probably seen him in other YouTubers' videos. He helps us out a lot, and that's what he does. He also has a YouTube channel, so go over and subscribe to him because, again, I really appreciate what he did for me. And, sometimes it was just simply venting, sometimes it was actual issues, and he stepped right up. Because the first issue that I had was with hog service. Now, I don't know that this is representative of how they normally operate. And honestly, I pretty much doubt it. Because typically, from what I've heard, this is a really good service. You pay, I don't know, I think it's 50 bucks a year, 60 bucks a year. They signed me up when I bought my new motorcycle. That's why I don't really know the cost, but I know it's fairly reasonable on a yearly basis. And so they will provide towing service if you need a battery, if you need gas, anything. They are there for riders. And unfortunately, something just fell through the cracks. I don't know if maybe it was because I had just renewed my membership when I bought the bike. I don't know what the case was, but anyways, Matt stepped in. He made sure that I got my tow truck, and it eventually actually took 10 hours, roughly 8 to 10 hours, somewhere in there, for them to come around. And by that time, my local dealers were closed, so we waited until the next morning. So that was issue number one. Fortunately, I was at home. If I was on the road, this would have been a much bigger issue, but I wasn't. I was at home. So got over that, and then we move on to the issue itself. So I get it up to the dealer. They tell me that their belief is that it was not put into transport mode when it came up here on the trailer from Orlando. So they think the security system was just going off and maybe it just killed the battery. It's possible that I had enough juice in the battery to start it up a couple times, take it on that 30-mile trip, and then eventually overnight it just died. So I was like, well, I guess maybe, it doesn't make complete sense, no. But then again, battery and electrical issues can cause some really weird stuff. So I just accepted it. They did a load test on it. They said, hey, it looks good to us. You can come pick it up. Now, when I actually picked it up this time, I had much better luck with it. I was able to get it started, that day, obviously. Take a nice ride, about, 45 minutes in each direction, So I was out there for a few hours, on the motorcycle and put some decent miles on it, I guess. Just something short. I kind of wanted to keep it in town, but I still wanted to put miles on it. At this point, I'm just itching to really get it on the road and really see how it does. But I don't want to be too far from home because I've already had an issue and I don't yet trust this thing, to be quite honest with you. But I run it, no issues whatsoever. Then the following day or the day after, I actually take it out again. I have Mrs. Hegshot on the back. Everything is totally fine until I get about a mile from another Harley dealer. Actually, it was less than that. It was probably half a mile. It just so happened that we were going there to actually exchange one of the shirts from Mrs. Hegshot. It wasn't even anything motorcycle related, really. And that's when I had the ABS and traction control lights come on at the same time. There was a bit of a jolt in the bike, and then those two lights came on, and then I had the triangle with the exclamation point in the middle come on. I grabbed one of the guys from the Harley dealer, asked him to come out, take a look at it. He sees that now we're having the same issue. Hit the starter. It's trying to start up, but nothing ever happens. But then, when you cut it off for, 30 seconds, not even that maybe, let the system reboot, it started up again. So, at this point, I'm like, okay, I could take this thing home. I could deal with possibly another tow. I don't really want to do that, so I just left it there over the weekend. I knew that their techs were going to be out until that following Tuesday. Actually, this was a Saturday or Friday, something like that. So I knew it was going to be there for a few days until they could actually look at it. So caught a ride, and now here we are again. I don't know, less than 100 miles, maybe 150 miles at this point. And I, once again, don't have my motorcycle in my garage. I give them a call the following Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it was, and I'm looking for a status update, and they say, hey, yeah, it's starting up. There's no issues that we're seeing, even though I'm talking to the same person that saw these issues happen. He cannot duplicate it. I say, look, there's obviously something going on with the motorcycle. I don't want to come get it because I don't trust this thing, and I definitely don't want to have to get it towed again. So they look at it for another couple of days, and again, after doing multiple tests, checking all of the connections and the battery and all this kind of stuff, they come back with nothing. And so their suggestion was then, hey, pick the bike up. If you have an issue again, make sure you video it, and then we're going to have to send it to corporate Harley. Well, I knew that I was going to have another issue because this is you know what I mean? Like, this isn't something that just happens and then it just automatically just goes away, right? The software updates have been done. We know that they've tested everything, and at this point, I'm kind of beside myself. Again, I have some support at Harley, and I cannot overstate how important that was. Sometimes you just need to call customer care at Harley, because when those guys step in, as you're about to see, things can get a lot better. Again, I have a contact at Harley. I have somebody that understands the other side of it, of course, and we're all, Harley enthusiasts. We're all motorcycle enthusiasts to the core, but Harley Davidson is what we really love. And so it's really hard to, like just say, man, this thing is just a total POS, knowing that it's probably something simple. But man, at the time, I felt really beside myself and super aggravated. Fortunately, I had some people that I could vent to. So that will be one suggestion that I would make. If you ever are caught in a situation like this where, I don't know, maybe you are not fond of your dealers in your area, or maybe there's something going on where you just think, man, I'm not getting the response I want from my local dealers. Calling customer care sometimes is the best way to go about this. And so, anyways, I get the bike home. This is a week, I don't know, a week after. Yeah, actually, it was a week and a day, because I ended up picking up that next Saturday. And got the bike, and guess what? The very next day, the same starting issue. So I took my videos, and again, it was super erratic. Now I had a check engine light that stayed on permanently, ABS, traction control. Sometimes it would smoke on startup. I mean, it was just super erratic. I got the videos, called customer care, sent them to customer care, and now the recommendation, I got to get it back up to one of my dealers, of course, so they can look at this thing. On the way to the dealer, of course, I have to set up a ride and all this kind of stuff, but on the way to the dealer, ABS traction control lights came back on, check engine light came on, or it was actually on the whole time. And I'm like, dude, I do not trust this motorcycle one bit. I just want to get this thing to the dealer and get the hell off of it. And so that's exactly what I do. I just get it up there really quick, catch another ride, come back, and then the next day is when I found out that the issue that the bike is having is actually a BCM. I go to pick up the bike. This is on a Friday, and I asked one of my buddies, I'm like, hey man, I really want to go down to Daytona. Haven't had a chance to do that, and of course, dealing with the bike, I haven't had a chance to go down there. I'd like to go down there and spend a few days so I'm not rushed, but I'd like to go down. And so I took a chance with this thing. At this point, when I picked it back up for the third time, I had 245 miles on it. At the end of this Daytona trip, I'm now at 1,057. So after 800 miles, I had zero issues with the motorcycle. It ran as strong as it did in Vegas. So what sold me in Vegas, I started to finally get a glimpse of the motorcycle I knew this thing could become. I know that's a long story. I tell you that because if you end up getting a 24, if you know somebody with a 24, if you hear about issues with a 24 and it's acting super erratic, if it's had the software update and it's still having that starter motor issue, BCM could be one of those things. And hopefully my case will help somebody else out where their bike doesn't have to go 2 and 3 or 4 times back to a dealer. So that's the whole reason that I went through that entire thing with you, hopefully to help somebody else out. And like I said, now the bike is running super strong. Now, I've talked about everything I like on the motorcycle. I like the new redesign. The 117 is an absolute monster. Sport mode, rain mode, normal road mode. I've had to use all of these. We got caught in a rainstorm coming back from Daytona last Saturday night. And so, I used rain mode. It really dumbs down the throttle, and it really kicks in all of your traction controls and all of that kind of stuff to keep you upright, of course. And all of these modes serve their purpose well. Now, Harley sent me a couple of things for the motorcycle, and one of those is actually the Reach seat. Now, what I want to tell you about this seat is it looks better than any of the previous Reach seats that I've ever had from Harley. First of all, aesthetically, it looks awesome. After about 45 minutes to an hour, though, on the motorcycle, it really kind of sucks. What I think this is a combination of the redesigned teardrop style tank. If you look at the old tank, it really narrows out where your inner thighs are going to be sticking around that tank. The older teardrop tanks, they just kind of narrowed those. Well, in the newer ones, they're a little bit wider and a little bit more squared off. Remember, they have those contoured lines towards the top of the tank. So now you have the reach seat, which pushes you forward like an inch and a half, and it's designed to get you a little bit closer to the ground. And so now I'm a little bit more forward, and the tank is a little bit wider, and my legs are short as it is. So now I kind of feel like I have to bow my feet in to get them comfortably, or I have to bow them way out and essentially be riding, like this to get any kind of relief. So if you're looking for a reach seat from Harley and you're only doing around town stuff, perfect. And really, the reach seat is only is truly necessary when I'm backing the motorcycle up. Fortunately, they've shaved some weight off of the Road Glide, so maybe it won't be that big of an issue this time around, but I'm just going to put the stock seat back on for right now. They also sent me the tour pack. They sent me the forged carbon fiber console, which looks absolutely incredible. I'll leave a link to that stuff down below too. So if you end up buying anything from Harley, if you're already buying parts from Harley, I should say, and you use that link, I actually get a little bit of a kickback on it. So it's a win-win for everybody. But some of these parts, remember, they're so new that they're dealer exclusive only. So if you see some of these things and it's like, hey, it won't let you add it to the cart, that's why. But the other ones that are available, like I said, man, I'll make sure I link those in the description. But I think one of my favorite things so far is the chopped tour pack, or the razor tour pack that I had got from Harley, and also that forged carbon fiber center console piece. Just like I said, I think it looks really good against the Whiskey Fire. So future plans with the bike, I have the high flow air breather from Harley, so more like the ST style. I have their Pro Street tuner, which I can use with Bluetooth, so we're going to get all of that done. Some stuff coming from Ciro, maybe. Custom Dynamics, maybe. We'll kind of have to see on that stuff. I know Ciro's trying to get some new stuff out as well, and so we don't really have a timeline on that, but at the same time, I know they are working on that. And so, yeah, definitely going to be going kind of the same direction that we went with the Road Glide Special after my long road trip last year, and just putting parts on and reporting back to y'all, tell you what I like and what I don't like. And so far, the reach seat, I'm really not a fan of. The other parts that I've gotten from Harley are freaking dope. And the color is absolutely just crazy on the Whiskey Fire with the black accents. It looks really good. I have a lot left to do with the motorcycle, and of course all these parts and accessories and all of this stuff you guys are going to see. And so if you like the type of content that I do here and you want to make sure you stay up to date with what I do with the Road Glide comparisons, all the videos that I plan on doing with this thing, and a heck of a lot more, of course, make sure you subscribe with your notifications on. Now, do I regret the decision I made on trading this bike in? No. No, I don't. I think the bike is absolutely stunning. I think it rides incredible. And I'm really a huge fan of most of the things that Harley Davidson has done. Unfortunately, when you buy a new motorcycle and a new design, sometimes we are ambassadors and we have to kind of figure this stuff out with Harley. Is it aggravating? Yes. But hopefully I can ease the aggravation for other people that may potentially have that issue. I hope you don't, but if you do, now you have maybe a little bit of direction that you could pass along to your local dealer as well. And sometimes that's what it comes down to as well. Sometimes it is on a dealer level as far as the service that you are going to get. And so, like I said, some of you guys know where I live, or the area that I live anyways, and I'm just not a huge fan of the dealers in my area. This goes way back. This is not just this example. And although they did try to step up, and there's a guy specifically that really did step up at one of my local dealers, I still just it's so dealer specific, man. You know, I can go into Orlando Harley, Savannah Harley, uh, what's the other one? Blackjack Harley. Man, these guys, I just walk in there and I just get an awesome vibe. Other dealers, it's not like that, unfortunately. And so sometimes you got to go outside of your area in order to get good service. And then other times you got to kind of deal with what you have. And so that's where we are, man. I'm not going to sit here and blame anybody, to be quite honest with you. It's a brand new motorcycle, it's a brand new design. And there's a lot of just kind of unknowns at this point. And, you know, through trial and error, sometimes these things just happen. And so, anyways, that's been my first 1,000 miles on the 2024 Road Glide. I'd love to hear about any experiences that you've had with your 2024 Road or Street Glide, or anything that your friends are talking about, maybe issues or how they're liking the motorcycle too. I don't want this to be all negative, even though a majority of this video was dedicated to the negative stuff. I cannot not tell you guys about that, because even though I love Harley Davidson, these issues, you guys have to know the good and the bad, because that's how I roll. So there you go, man. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.